this is Sean with Rainier Arms, and today we have another New Products Weekly video. This bad boy right here is a SIG MCX-SPEAR, but it's not the regular SPEAR. This bad boy is the 6.8 chambered SPEAR. So it is the civilian equivalent to what the military has adopted back in 2022, the XM7. And it's pretty solid. I mean, it's solid also in weight, weighing 9.2 pounds with the mag inserted. But because of that, this thing, it has some pretty cool features, and it's an interesting firearm. It's an interesting rifle, and it's just because it's utilizing a lot of what we already know about the SIG MCX, how they're utilizing their kind of extended, almost monolithic, not really, but their upper receiver and a lot of the other features. But it's cool because it is, again, a civilian equivalent to what the military is going to be using, their next-gen squad weapon. And it's chambered in a nasty, nasty round. If you haven't done any research on what the 6.8 is capable, or the .277 Fury, what it is capable of, it's nasty. I mean, it can go over, usually we're seeing like muzzle velocities over 3,000 feet per second, which is freaking nuts out of a 114 grain projectile. Which means that because it also has really, really good ballistics coefficient, it flies pretty dang flat. So you're not having a whole lot of drop at distances and stuff. So anyways, not so much about the ammo. We want to talk about the gun. So this SIG MCX SPEAR is running the 16-inch barrel, again, chambered in 8.6. It's a cold hammer forged steel barrel with a 1-to-7 twist. With it, what is cool, this is a very modular system. So you can run the 6.8 barrel in this, which most of us know the ammo is a little bit harder to find, but it's also pretty dang expensive right now. So you could buy this setup, but because it is modular, you can switch out the barrel if you want to run something like 7.62x51 or 6.5 Creedmoor. If you can find the barrel and the things that you need, you can still utilize this train with this without expending the copious amounts of money that ammo is just requiring right now. There just isn't enough of it out there. So there is contract overrun, military contract overrun ammo, but it's just not as accessible. But anyways, continuing on. So foregrip is going to be our standard. Our handguard is going to be our standard SIG MCX handguard with the M-lock on the three sides, full-on Picatinny on the top. The gas system is going to be a piston system with adjustable gas, two-setting adjustable gas. Some of the cool features now that you can see on this side is the non-reciprocating charging handle on the side, which traditionally or typically I personally don't like. It's usually a huge learning curve, and it's just different. And a lot of them are just set up in a way that it's not really as intuitive or as, what I'm used to really when it comes to it. But this SPEAR, the way that they've set it up is you still have that charging handle on the side, and you've got the charging handle in the rear. So now you have the option to run what you are used to, taking the hand off and charging from up here, or if you're left-handed, being able to come back here and charge. You're still able to do what you're used to with the normal AR platform. But now, even if you prefer to be running it here and still operating from here because it's a little bit quicker than having to swoop this, grab this, however, this still offers you a solution. If you are in some sort of collapsed or confined space, you're still able to work with clear malfunctions or what might be happening. So I appreciate that. It's non-reciprocating, so we don't have to worry about it going back and forth and hitting us or anything crazy. But we still have the option to utilize what we're used to, how we're used to utilizing a charging handle. I'm just really glad that they did something like that, and I wish that was happening on a lot more rifles that are utilizing a charging handle, but that's just my personal opinion. So with it, the lower receiver is fully ambi. We've got our magazine releases on both sides, as well as bolt catch, bolt release. So the bolt catch on the right side doesn't technically catch the bolt, but it does release the bolt, which is still nice with the safety being ambi as well. So one thing that I do want to point out is if we are using the side charging handle, and let's say we lock this bad boy to the rear, that side charging handle will stay to the rear. So when you do go to release that charging handle, you just got to be mindful of where that thumb's going to be, because that charging handle is going to have to shoot forward. Just a little something. It won't always be like this. If you're not using that side charging handle, it won't be locked to the rear, but it will shoot forward, and you just got to be a little bit more mindful of where that thumb is placed. that was just something that I noticed when I was playing with it. But if I lock it to the rear using the traditional lock it to the rear method using the charging handle, the side charger is going to stay in place. At that point, I don't need to worry about my thumb placement. Overall, I like the look of the gun. Again, it is heavy, 9.2 pounds with the mag inserted. It's about 38.3 inches long. The other aspect that I appreciate is the push button folding telescoping stock on the back, so you can switch it out. It's just running that same Picatinny that we see with the Spear on the backside. So it's really easy to adjust if you want to run a different folding mechanism, folding stock, or whatever it might be. Yeah, besides that, pretty solid, pretty fun gun. Heavy. I would love to be able to shoot it, because doing some research on that round, it's just absolutely nasty. It does some pretty wild stuff. Do want to point out real fast, it ships with one magazine, 20 round magazine. It's a kind of a AR-10 multi-caliber style magazine. It ships with one of those bad boys, so wish it was more. And then trigger, I do want to point out, is a 2-stage match light duo trigger. Perfectly functional. It's better than most what you would feel as a mil-spec trigger. So kind of nice to see a little touch, a little change there. But yeah, there it is. The MCX-SPEAR in 6.8.277 Fury. All right, so what we have here is LMT's Mars LS AR-15 PDW complete lower receiver. LMT is a very, very well-known name, making incredibly quality parts. And the Mars lower is also incredibly well-known. It flies off the shelf. It is a hot mover. This PDW one is just a little bit different. And it's still boasting all the awesome stuff that we love about LMT and the Mars lower itself, the modular ambi rifle system. So first things that we're going to notice right off the bat is it is rocking the PDW stock. It is still collapsible, telescoping, but you're just not going to get as much length out of it as you typically would with a full-size stock. But that's on purpose, because this is set up to be a PDW personal defense weapon, however you want to set that up. But it's still adjustable. And there we go. It's still adjustable. It's just going to be a little bit smaller. Now, with this lower, the Mars lower is one of my favorites on the market. There's some great ones out there, but I just think LMT does a great job with the Mars. And some of that is how they've machined their ambi controls into the lower receiver. So first side, talking about the magazine release right here. So a lot of times on an ambi lower, what you're going to end up seeing is that magazine release is not going to be as protected. And what can happen is when you are in a training class doing drills, whatever, and you set that gun down, you're wearing a chest rig, plate carrier, whatever it might be, things can very easily hit that magazine release. And I have some setups where I've had that magazine unclick or completely fall out. And it's quite annoying, right? So it's nice that LMT has machined the setups, the controls, into this lower receiver, which is going to increase the durability and the longevity of those controls, but it's also going to minimize the chances of accidentally releasing a magazine when you don't want to. And it feels great, looks great, and it's great machinery like LMT does. Now on the back side, or the right side, the bolt catch, bolt release is fully ambi, meaning that you can actually engage that bolt release or that bolt catch from the right side with that trigger finger. So if this was set up in a full rifle, I'd be able to pull that charging handle back and I'd be able to lock that bolt to the rear. And in a lot of setups, you can't do that. That side is only capable of releasing the bolt and not catching it. So that is going to be very smooth when it comes to clearing malfunctions. If you're clearing a double feed or something where you need to lock that bolt to the rear, usually you're going to have to take the fire and control hand off, pull that charging handle back while you're simultaneously catching it with that left side. With this kind of a setup with a proper bolt catch, bolt release, all you have to do is pull that charging handle to the rear, use your trigger finger to pin that bolt catch back. And it's just a lot faster, it's a lot smoother, it's a lot more intuitive, and it's keeping that fire control hand right where it needs to be, right on those controls. So that's a great setup. Besides that, still got ambi safety selector. Rocking another feature here is the LMT enhanced winter trigger guard. So purpose for that, one big one being in the wintertime, you're going to be typically wearing gloves, right? Sometimes bigger gloves. It's giving you a lot more room. It's still giving you a good undercut that is going to allow you to have very good grip and control over the firearm while you're wearing those bigger gloves. And you can get your trigger finger into that trigger guard easier because there is more room. Additionally, an issue that you find with some other traditional style trigger guards is you might be able to get your finger into that trigger guard with the glove, but what ends up happening is when you pull that trigger down and then it wants to reset, that glove gets wrapped underneath the trigger itself, and it won't even allow that trigger to fully reset or go forward. So with the Mars, LMT Mars setup here, or with that enhanced winter trigger guard, the way that they have it cut is it's dang near impossible for that glove to get caught underneath that trigger, which is a great safety concern. One, we don't want the gun to be going off when we don't want to, but two, we also want it to be able to reset and go off when we want it to. So not having to fight your trigger finger or your glove being there is a nice touch. Besides that, a couple other things. Trigger, it is a 2-stage trigger, feels quite nice. Obviously, I'm not going to pull the trigger because I'm not going to just let that hammer drop on nothing. And then rocking the Ergo grip, pistol grip, which is, it's a fan favorite of a lot of people, me personally. I prefer some other options, but it still works. It works real well, and it's a very, very popular grip. The construction overall, it is 70-75 T6 forged aluminum, lower receiver. So we're going to have really good durability and just overall a solid option. But we know that LMT always has solid options. Oh, one last thing I do want to talk about, QD end plate, nice touch. Just nice to have that for your sling and not have to worry about buying the rifle, switching it out, having to take out the castle nut, get a new end plate, all that. It's already set up. It's just such a simple thing. I think it should come pretty much on every single rifle. Why the heck not? Oh, and just one other little thing I want to mention. They did a great job with the enhanced magazine well flare. Not to the point that it's so large it looks goofy or starts to look a lot like a race gun, but it's subtle enough with the angles and the curves that they used, but it's still going to offer you a lot of help when it comes to inserting magazines on a reload. Yeah, so overall, I'm happy with it. We were actually just talking before this video, and playing with this one, I need to personally do a Mars lower build because I really do like their lowers, and I've always said it, but I just haven't built one, so I need to. But anyways, there it is, Mars LS from LMT, the PDW complete lower receiver. Hey, thanks for spending some time on another New Products Weekly video where I cover some new stuff on our website. Couple things, please like, subscribe, comment down below, and let's keep in mind we have our huge event coming up, TriggerCon, and that's going to be held here in Wichita, Kansas on September 27th, 28th, and 29th. Tickets are on sale. It's going to be a 2-day expo with over 100, I can't remember, 100 and something exhibitors right now. And then Sunday on the 29th is going to be a range day at Severance Training Center in Conway Springs, Kansas. Great facility, and we have a lot of shooting booths set up. So come on out, check out the website, triggercon.com, get your tickets, and come check them out because you're going to be very, very happy that you did. And like always, we'll see you again in the next one.